Hi everyone, it's Nishti here, specialist dietitian for children and parents, and in this video it's all about eczema. And do probiotics work in people with eczema? That's the question. And in this video I'm going to explain first of all what is eczema, why are probiotics used in eczema and do they actually work? But I'm also going to talk a little bit about some case studies that might help you. I work a lot with people with eczema and I'll tell you what we do in practice to try and manage their symptoms. But first of all, what is eczema? So first of all, what is eczema? Eczema is an inflammatory skin condition and it affects about 5 to 20% of children of all age and about 2 to 5% of adults. And you tend to see more of the severe form of eczema in adults. Some children grow out of their eczema, and I've seen that time after time, but some children, it persists and it can really affect the quality of life. It's such a hard condition to live with. Now, when we talk about eczema, we need to also talk about the immune system because it's an inflammatory skin condition. So we will be talking about the immune system. Now, the use of probiotics in eczema has really increased in recent years. And it is quite a controversial topic, but I will explain first of all what are probiotics and what are their use in people with eczema. So first of all, probiotics are live bacteria and they come in all shapes and sizes, pill format, drinks, powders, even in foods such as yogurt, miso, kefir, sauerkraut. All of these have live bacteria, probiotic live bacteria, and they help to keep our gut nice and healthy, because an imbalance in our gut can cause lots of different things, not just potentially aggravate eczema. It can also cause lots of other health conditions. So it's very important, as you may know already, to look after our gut. Now, there is research to show that in people with eczema, the gut microbiome, so our gut health, there is a bacteria called bifidobacteria. And this bacteria is a good bacteria. And in people with eczema, there's research to show that they have less of this bifidobacteria. And that's quite interesting in comparison to healthy people who have more of the bifidobacteria. So that's probably also where this use of probiotics come in, because probiotics can contain bifidobacteria and can therefore feed obviously the health of our gut. Now, you now know what probiotics are, and you now know that probiotics are live bacteria, and you now know that people with eczema tend to have less bifidobacteria in their gut. And that's why we need to talk about probiotics, and that's why there's so much research into it. But how do probiotics actually work? Probiotics are thought to increase regulatory T cells. So without being too scientific, they basically help, they have an anti-inflammatory effect. And remember, eczema is an inflammatory skin condition, and probiotics can have an anti-inflammatory effect. So it can help to dampen the inflammation in the body. And that's quite significant. That's quite significant, you know, that what they can actually do when we have probiotics. Help to keep our immune system in homeostasis, which is balanced. However, the evidence to support the use of probiotics in eczema, it's just, I found so many brilliant studies that showed that it reduced the symptoms in both children and adults. But then I also found some studies that show it could even prevent. So for example, in mothers who have eczema themselves, if they take probiotics, it can, but limited research, in the incidence of eczema in their offspring. But all this research, it's very limited and it's not the greatest quality research. Some of them are randomized controlled trials, which are good studies. However, they all use different strains of probiotic. They all use different dosages of probiotics. So it's very hard to say which one is best and how much is best. And that's why the overall conclusion in the medical world is that probiotics is inconclusive whether they can prevent or even help to manage the symptoms of eczema. But saying that, there's always a but. Saying that, probiotics can cause very little harm. So if you have decided to use a probiotic supplement in your own diet or in your child's diet, there isn't much harm that could be caused other than maybe a bit more gas or bloating. By the way, there are some conditions such as, for example, there are preterm babies where we say very preterm and ill preterm babies, we say do not have probiotics. And in immunocompromised people as well, we say don't take any probiotics. But overall, the research shows that the adverse effects of probiotics is very, very low. So if you're taking a probiotic and it works for you, brilliant. But do not think that it's a magic pill. It's not a magic pill. Probiotics is part of a healthy diet. And that's when we need to really talk about diet, because you can really influence your gut health by what you eat. Focus on lots of prebiotic foods. Prebiotics are basically another type that feed the healthy bacteria in our gut. So unlike probiotics, which are live bacteria, prebiotic feed they're the food for the good bacteria in our gut, if you like. So focus on that. Lots of fruit, vegetables, limit refined sugars. Refined sugars can cause inflammation in the body. So it's all about balancing out your own diet and your child's diet, making sure it's very healthy. You know, don't consume all these refined sugars. The amount of people I see that consume so many refined sugars is, I think it's become a bit of a tradition in our society that we think having biscuits every day is normal, but it's not. It's still refined sugar. So if you're struggling with inflammation, particularly if you're struggling with eczema, you may want to look at the quality of your diet. So I hope this was helpful, but I now want to talk about food and eczema and some case studies. So let's dive into the next topic. Now, food and eczema. Now, first of all, food doesn't cause eczema, but food may trigger a flare-up. And in clinical practice, what I see and what I do in my job as a dietitian, working with both children and adults with allergies and lots of other conditions, not just allergies, but we're focusing on allergies and eczema today. And the reason why I want to touch upon allergies is because I often see people with eczema who have an underlying food allergy that's undiagnosed. And the most common allergy, guess what it is? Dairy. Cow's milk protein allergy or dairy intolerance. And I find that when we take the dairy out of the diet, that it actually helps to manage the symptoms of eczema. And the other one is soya. So dairy and soya. I'm not saying they do not cause eczema, but they can cause a flare-up in symptoms. So managing eczema through diet is sometimes possible, not all the time. Just because you have eczema, it doesn't mean that you have a food allergy, but it's something to be, perhaps you could rule it out, work with a dietitian, ask your doctor. Because some foods can really trigger a flare-up. And the way you can actually help yourself and your child is to keep a food and symptom diary. Keep a food and symptom diary and write up. On Monday, they had 2 pots of yogurt and lots of dairy, and the flare-up happened. The next week, they didn't have much dairy because we went to my friend's house and they didn't have much dairy. Symptoms didn't flare up. Ooh, could there be a correlation between dairy and the flare-up? Who knows? Only you know by taking notes and by paying careful attention. And with the help of a dietitian, preferably, you could even try an elimination diet where you take out the possible food trigger safely and then you put it back in to see if it was that food that caused the problems. But this all has to be done under medical supervision. It is best to be done under medical supervision, so that would be my advice to you. So the overall verdict is that probiotics may or may not improve eczema. If it has improved in you, please let me know, comment below, I would love to know. And if you want to include it, I'm not saying you should or you should not. It's something you need to decide upon consulting with your doctor or your own dietitian. But in the meantime, focus on the quality of your diet and see if there are any foods that could be a possible trigger, because you never know, So I hope that was helpful, and if it was, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with people that you may think could benefit from watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.